So I was flipping through the code book, and switches are in Article 404, right there. That's where you want to be if you want to know something about switches, generally speaking. And what we discovered is that a breaker, here's a standard square D home line breaker, a breaker can be used as a switch. Now, I've occasionally been in, say, stores at a mall or someplace like that, and the only way to turn on the floor lights is by the breakers. And that's perfectly fine. You can do that. You don't need a regular light switch on the wall somewhere. But if you're going to use a regular breaker as a switch, you got to follow a certain rule. And in Article 404 on switches, it says right here, 404.8, accessibility and grouping. It says, all switches and circuit breakers used as switches shall be located so that they may be operated from a readily accessible location, readily accessible place. They shall be installed such that the center of the grip of the operating handle of the switch or circuit breaker when in its highest position is not more than 6 foot 7 inches above the floor or working platform. All right? So that's good to know. I was in a place the other day and it had a panel, and then above that it had another panel, and I literally had to get out a ladder to comfortably, I could reach up and grab that second panel, and on there it had someone wrote in Sharpie lights, and it turned on the lights to the whole storefront. It was probably a little high, but it was an old building, and you know, it'd been years since any inspector had ever looked at that thing. But in general use, if you're going to mount a panel somewhere and you're going to use a breaker, say for shop lights or the back room lights or something like that, make sure they're not over 6 foot 7 inches high, and that way somebody can very easily turn them on or off. Now, granted, if you're going to install a panel and any bit of it is over 6 foot 7, you're probably putting it in too high. If you can go lower, would be a preferable thing. But so just so you know, a circuit breaker can be used as a switch as long as it's in a it's mounted inside the box, no more than 6 foot 7 inches high. Weird number, but it's what we got to go with. So happy installing.